right, guys, I wanted to open up today with a quick little tune dedicated to you. All right. Just kidding. Lucky for you, I don't know a lick about playing a guitar. That's my son's. But I do know a lot about the stock market, and these are quick takes on the stock market, not guitar lessons. But before I did get started today, I wanted to show you one thing that I got in the mailbox. These were sent down to my house, and I thought they were pretty sweet. Bank it or tank it hats. They come from this guy, Tony. Check those out. I mean, those look great, right? He has this IT brands, the two eyes on the T, the two eyes, IT for it, IIT brand.com. And I mean, these things are pretty sweet. So it was awesome to get those in the mail. I mean, IT brands, IIT brand.com. Thanks, Tony. Again, I mean, I was blown away. I thought it was from a company, from within inside the company. Just some props here, like use them for your video. No, it was a outside company. Saw an opportunity, sent them to me, so that was great. We'll be sure to use those in an upcoming video. So thanks for that. And I just wanted to, before we get into our quick takes today, I just want to say thanks to everyone who sent in comments for stocks for me to take a look at. We went through a lot in our quick takes live 2 weeks ago, so that was really fun. And I'm looking forward to doing another one of those. So be sure to tune in. That's over at our True Options Masters channel on our YouTube channel. But we go through a lot of stocks, and this week's stocks are from Cynthia. So big shout out to Cynthia, John, Robert, and then someone else, Geets. Just thanks for leaving these comments here on our past YouTube videos. I go back through them, I check them, and we just pull those stocks and we add them to a list, and then I feature them in these upcoming videos. So just scroll below right now as we're pulling up this next stock. We're going to start with Spotify, but scroll below. Let me know what stocks you want me to feature in an upcoming video. Just leave me a comment, and while you're there, click subscribe so that we don't miss out on all these videos, all these quick takes, all these bank it or tank it analysis. Last week we did Asana, the work management platform. So this is a lot of great content about stocks that maybe you haven't heard of before, because you're leaving me comments about stocks that you want to look more into, and we'll feature them. Like today, when we were all over the place. We got Spotify, the guitar over here. I mean, we got airlines, we got financials. It's up and down. It doesn't matter what sector, where it's at, what's going on with the stock. We're going to dive into it and break it down really quick on the price chart. So let's get started. This is Spotify. On the price chart, it's long term, but you can see that since they started out, they went into this little rut for a couple of years there through 2019, through 2020, and then the pandemic hit. And then, boom, it skyrocketed because everybody was using streaming companies. It was just a big time for those. The podcast really started to take off. They signed Joe Rogan, and all of a sudden things were just uphill from there. They flatlined eventually, again, stalling. Then we crashed back down to earth. So we see the stock down here. On this chart, a big drop, but back down in this price range, and that's kind of the risk that we are in now, is that the stock's going to trade sideways. But for today, it's a big drop. I'm going to put it on my bank it list, and we're also going to take a look at the unusual options activity. I want to feature that in each of these, so we're going to flip over and take a look at that next. But I do want to show you this price chart that it has this quick little V on the bottom here. I thought that was great to see a nice bullish turn up, and it's been climbing out of that, so some steady movement there. I would put a floor in this stock to look for a pullback around $140. If it falls below that, you want to avoid the stock. Look out for it could be stuck in this range for quite a while. If it's above $140, we want to be bullish on a stock and wait for it to mount another uptrend from there. So bank it stock here on Spotify. Now let's take a look at Spotify for their unusual activity, and we'll just look at the month of March, but we want to make sure that we're only looking at ones that really go, they expire past now, because if they expired before now, then they're playing all that volatility. So it's a little tough to look at this, but we can sort, I believe, here, or it'll be sorted from the date from the most recent. So no data yet. So we don't have to worry about it for Spotify. This is a bank it stock. No unusual options activity came up there over the last month or so. So let's go to our next stock. Let's do SoFi. So this is the loan services company. It's called SoFi Technologies, which the company really is a financial lending services company. So they're called technologies because they want to offer all these different services on their platform. And here we got a few unusual options trades, quite a bit for this one. You can see some of these expirations. So March 25th, this was put on today. So puts after the rally that we've seen, but then there's calls out to May. So I like to look at the ones that they bought a little bit more time with, especially when they're sweeps. Only 12K there. So let's sort this by some premium to see where the big money's going. So there's a lot of money on puts out to January 20th, 2023. But again, you can see right there with some calls. So we got puts and calls, both large amounts of money, block trades. Down here, we got some sweeps, some bullish sweeps out to 2024. So people are really taking a big stance on the stock, some out of the money call options there, quite a bit of action. So looking at this, you look at the bullish flow, little bullish sentiment here, put flows, 36% call flow, 64%. So overall, it's tilting a little bit to the bullish side. I like that we're seeing this where they're buying some time, but we're also seeing it on the flip side for the puts. So, I mean, these two right here are probably the most aggressive in the fact that they are sweeps. But since they bought so much time, it's kind of hard to use that as a indicator of any sorts there for our trades, or for looking at them today and making a trade on it today. So let's go to the charts. Let's dive into this a little bit more and see how SoFi Technologies has been trading. All right, so I started, we had this big price channel that I was trading in, almost a descending triangle pattern, but so wide that it doesn't really matter. But this is from the IPO in March, boomed higher, stayed in this higher price range. This is up to the mid 20s, 24, 25 almost dollars a share, then back down to 14. Then it broke below that. So this was the time that you would have been bearish on a stock. Down below this key support level, stay bearish. But then we plunged out of that. Now it fell all the way down to $7.80. So this is a big drop for the stock. And once you see a big flush through like that, it's a stock that may be worth going bottom fishing on. I mean, then that's really the way you got to look at it. What you want to watch out for is a steeper trend line developing through here that could keep pressure on a stock to head lower. So make that one orange. But that is what you want to watch out for here coming to the upside. You want to break through that. I'm going to put this on my Bankit list today, mainly because, well, so we are seeing people come in here after the big drop and slightly more bullish than bearish. Definitely some bearish trades though. So not much on the unusual options activity, but kind of have like we did before where we had a big V bottom. Now we're trying to push higher out of that. So I'm going to take about halfway through this V bottom, about $9, and we'll call it 30 cents. That's going to be our floor for the stock. If it pulls back, falls below that, we want to get out of the stock and avoid it until we break above this kind of new resistance line that could be forming. We'll see how it pushes, how high it pushes here, where it hits this, and if it can break through that. Because if it can break through that, then it can make a quick run up back to $14 a share, which from $10 to $14, it's a quick 40% pop that we're looking at. So it's a volatile stock. That's why I wanted to have it on my Bankit list today. But we want to, and now just seeing how we set these up, I think I like starting with the unusual options activity first, and then we'll go back into the price charts and see how they line up. So our next stock is BCRX. This is pharmaceutical stock. And just from the top right there, we can see that put calls are heavy on the put side. Put flows 79% of this. So we have a bearish flow for unusual options activity overall from what we're looking at on this. And when we go down sorted by premium still, so just to keep an eye on that. I mean, the biggest premium was a call option out to April 14th. So that's kind of nice to see. But then these June 17th puts add up to more than the April 14th, and they're a little bit longer term. Not too much out of the money, just right under where the stock's trading. So they're just coming in here. You got 4 unusual options for that June 17th expiration going throughout the month of March. That's March 9th, 11th, 15th, and the 15th again. So heavy put flow, that's what we want to keep an eye on here as we look at the stock. Let's see what they're looking at, maybe why they're trying to bet on this going lower. So let's pull up the stock now. BCRX, BioCryst Pharmaceuticals. So honestly, I don't follow these stocks. I don't know what half of them do. All I care about is price charts, and I'm zooming out just to get the big picture. I mean, this thing goes back to the mid 90s, so it's not a up and coming new pharmaceutical company trying to hit the ground running, but it's one I haven't really heard of. Volatile stock. I mean, look at the potential here for money to be made on these swings higher, dips down into penny stock territory, $1 a share, and then retire up to $20 a share in a matter of years. So some big potential runs here is something to keep an eye on for the stock. But right now, it's basically been on one of those runs, down from about $1.50. That was November 2019, touched it again in March 2020, and then boom, shot higher, kind of the move that we're in today. And now I'm not afraid of stocks moving to the upside. I know that basically what we follow in the shades on this chart that we see are based on my profit radar. But we'll go through them real quick. Green is leading, yellow is weakening, and then red is lagging, and then blue is improving. So as they go through the motions, we expect them to make a natural rotation through the market from leading the market to weakening, then back to lagging, and then improving, then leading the market again, then back to weakening, and so on and so on. So that's what we watch for these things to move through. And right now it's lagging. So the next sector in this profit radar that we would look for it to move is improving. So we would look for it to turn blue and head higher. So we're looking for some bullish moves out of this. But I'm just drawing in a key support here underneath because that's going to be your key level to watch. This is going to be a Bankit stock. We're looking for BioCryst to head higher from here. And I love that it's making higher highs. This is what we haven't seen in the other charts. It's making higher highs in higher lows. So we're turning around at higher levels. And then basically now we're trying to do the same thing, but it could fall down to around $14 a share before it ultimately bottoms, and then could still turn higher and be in a bull market for the stock. So this is a great bank it stock, big kind of shift in what we've been seeing for these other companies. So I'm excited about this one. We'll keep it on our bank it list for today. All right, so our next stock is NVTA. This is a healthcare stock. So all over the board, again, as I mentioned, just look, a couple unusual options trades here to take a look at. We got the June 17th calls, September 16th puts, but the money is definitely on the put side. They're both sweeps, but 213,000. So the put sides are definitely getting the action for unusual activity, and this is why we track this, just to see the big trades that are coming up. So that's one thing that we wanted to note as we take a look at the stock. Let's see if we agree if this is going to be a stock on my tank it list. So this is clearly a stock in a downtrend. I mean, we'll zoom back out again. This is kind of like the first stock we looked at today, Spotify, where it had this range that it was stuck in from 2018 to 19, and this is another 4-year area where it's just not doing much. Then it starts to explode, and then it rips higher, gets the big push higher there after 2020, and that mania that was happening. And it came back to earth a little bit, tried to hold this mid-range around the upper 20s, low 30s there. Didn't hold. Then we had a gap lower. That was a bearish sign. Sold off since then. Now we're way down here in the bottom. And that's the thing with these big drops, with these volatile stocks. So you're tempted just to jump in and buy them and hope that they shoot higher. And that's kind of where I am with these two, honestly. I don't know anything about the company. The price chart's not giving us much. But we see that we are red on the chart, which is lagging the overall market. So the next expected move would be into the improving quadrant, which would turn blue. And we would hope that that would push it higher and then eventually get to leading. You can see that it hasn't been leading since September 8th, 2021, where it did go on a nice little run higher. So we're looking for that to kind of jumpstart things again. So I'm going to have it on my bank it list. Again, we'll keep a tight leash on this stock. I'm going to set the floor in this right here, kind of where it broke out and has this consolidation area around $8 a share on both sides of this V. So $8 a share, if it can stay above $8, we're going to keep it on our bank it list. If it falls below that, it'll be a tank it stock, and we'll look to avoid it from there. So again, another bank it stock on our list today. We only have one more company that we want to look at, and that's JetBlue. Before we get to the chart, I'll pull it up. But before we talk about the chart, let's start with unusual options activity, because for that one, I mean, I see what they're looking at in NVTA, but just looking at how beaten down the stock is, buying $5 puts, that was way out of the money. So I don't know. That wouldn't be a trade that I would put on. I'm going to go over to JetBlue. We'll see what comes up with this one. Not a lot of premiums in these before we get excited. Not a lot of premium to talk about. I mean, 87, 89,000, but then they offset because they're calls and puts out in June. So nothing here going on for unusual options activity. Again, it's hard to take a stock and see what they have on it. Instead, we use unusual options activity usually as a scanner, but I wanted to use it just as an added sentiment indicator to see how these stocks are trading. Not much taken off for JetBlue. So now we go to this price chart, and the first thing that stands out to you is this downward price channel. We're up here near the top of it. So we're already in the improving quadrant. You can see the shade of blue here on the edge that we just got into. And these are airline stocks that have just really suffered since the pandemic. I mean, they got hit the hardest. Never really, I mean, this one barely got back to new highs, or just the highs before the pandemic. Got back to that level and then sold off again, and is still struggling, even though we hear reports that airlines, airports are back to full capacity. They're running hot. I know down here in Miami, they just had their busiest day ever for spring break. So airlines are really taking back off, but we're not seeing it in the stocks. So something else is going on here. And that's usually a sign of an alarm. So something to worry a little bit about. So this one, it's been kind of steadily trending lower, had its consolidation, broke out lower from that, then try to push higher. So now we're kind of in the middle of this downward trend channel. But until the trend channel breaks, I'm going to stay bearish on a stock. I'm going to have this one on my tank it list as we wait for this bounce to play out. Now, if it can get and break above this red resistance line, we're going to be bullish on the stock. That's the kind of the key levels that we look at. That's why we have these on the charts to begin with, is we want to know what to watch. So we know exactly where we want to watch with JetBlue here going forward. So that's all for my quick takes today, running through a couple of these stocks. And I just wanted to remind you again that these are all stocks that you all recommended for me to take a look at. So keep the comments coming. Leave a comment below in the channel. You can send us email. whatever works for you. Let us know what stocks you want me to feature in an upcoming video, and I'll be sure to add them to my list and bring them up down the road. So before I sign off, make sure you subscribe to our channel, like it if you enjoyed the content, and go Duke. Tonight, a big matchup Thursday night. Duke trying to advance to the Elite Eight. Coach K's final run, and I'm a big fan of Duke. I did not go to school there, just a big fan. I'm from North Carolina, and then we used to take our son to the Duke basketball camps ran by Coach K. You got to meet Coach K. I got videos of Coach K clapping for him when he hits a shot. You got to experience the environment that Duke provides. It's really a cool school. It was fun for the kids to go to. So I'm just a big fan, and I'm hoping the best for them this year. It's going to be some tough games, but we'll see if they can pull it out. So go Duke. Enjoy the March Madness tournaments, and enjoy trading in the market. It's a volatile market. Some great trades lining up. So just have a good day and enjoy it. Until next time, I'm Chad Shoup.